Ladies, gentlemen, and jabronis, it's Mitch here, back with another NFL reaction video. In this video, none other than Nick Wright. Yup, Nick's back with his fresh, new NFL tiers. It's that time of year. Where does your team rank? How good will your team be in 2026? All the experts want to give their opinion. But when they give their opinion, yours truly rips them a new one. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. What's up, Nick Wright? Step on up. This is the Bottom Line View, and this is where we decide. Are you accurate or are you awful? Are you truly an expert? Do you know what you're talking about? If you're ready for me to break down, decipher, and absolutely dice up Nick Wright's latest tiers, Gronk, spike the like button, and don't be a jabroni, please. Please, I beg you, don't be a jabroni. Subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know in the comments your opinion on Nick Wright's latest NFL tiers, ranking every NFL team, including your favorite, from number 32 to number 1. Let's go. And if you want my latest power rankings, then Gronk spike the like button. Let's get 100 of those things, and I will give you my latest power rankings. And I know I haven't been as consistent. I know I haven't been making content as frequently as usual like other off seasons. I promise you a lot of great content is coming. And I promise you that 2026 is going to be a great season of BLV. Let's get started with Nick's tiers.
While shopping for yet another bucket hat, this one for a vacation. An elite committee of experts, analysts, and grandfathers fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for a 49 days till the start of football season tiers.
Indeed it is. 7 weeks away, kind of to the day. Yeah, 7 weeks.
Let's go.
To the day,
kind of.
until the season starts. We have our first look at the start of 26 tiers, which is different than the end of 25 tiers. End of 25 tiers, at the end of the season, whoever won the Super Bowl always is atop the final
Earn
tiers.
That. Just one? They only get one time or something?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
The Chiefs probably back at number 1. Is that why? We'll see.
Oddly, it seems like the committee has respected the Chiefs championships more than some others, but we'll see.
That's a surprise.
Bottom of the tiers, no teams eliminated.
Shocking.
These teams wish they were already waiting for 2027.
Accurate title. I think the labels of Nick's tiers are typically the best part. So this is the first tier, the bottom tier. We got the Miami Dolphins, the Cleveland Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, and the New York Jets. I can't disagree. I think these are the 4 worst teams in the NFL. I don't think there's a team that's not included here that should be included. I actually think this is a perfect tier. I do. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Are these the 4 worst teams in the league? 2 of them happen to be in the AFC East. And yet, there will be jabronis in my comments. I see you right now commenting. Oh, Mitch, the Patriots are going to go 7-10. They play these 2 teams 4 times. So good luck. But you also got the Cardinals and the Browns. And here's the thing, right? Jets, Cardinals, veteran bridge option quarterbacks. Geno Smith, probably the most upside out of those options. Jacoby Brissett, not a lot of upside, but was actually solid last year for the Cardinals. Cleveland does not have a quarterback. It's the corpse of Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. And then you got the Miami Dolphins, who are going with the Malik Willis experiment. I'm excited for it, but he doesn't have a lot of help around him. The Dolphins have easily the worst roster top to bottom in the NFL, period. The Jets tried to improve it. The Cardinals tried to improve it. The Browns didn't because they traded Myles Garrett. It's a Browns team that's toothless without Myles Garrett. And throw in Jim Schwartz too. Their defense is going to be toothless this year. It's going to be the worst Browns team we've seen in a minute, I think. And that's saying something. The Jets, they're always bad. I think they have the worst head coach in the NFL. But they do have building blocks. I still don't think their defense is going to be great. Maybe a little improved. I think the Jets could be competitive, but bad competitive. The Cardinals are in the toughest division in football, and they're probably automatically going to be faced with 6 losses. So it's tough. Like, Miami is intentionally rebuilding, retooling, even with Malik Willis. The Cardinals are looking for that quarterback next year. Cleveland has a lot of ammunition, and so does the Jets in terms of draft capital. All these teams are definitely looking to 2027. All these teams are planning their franchise for the future. None of these teams think they're going to be any good. So at least they're in the right tier in terms of like where they expect to be, right? So, but at the same time, I think this is the accurate tier. I don't think there is a team that is missed in the bottom tier. The Raiders, I think, have a little bit more to them. I think who else would really even be considered here? Tennessee, I think, has more upside this year than past years. Right? The Giants certainly has more upside and appeal to them than past years. Next.
Dolphins, Browns, Cardinals, Jets. One of our interns told me I was disrespecting the Jets. I told him, no, I'm not.
See, the thing is, the Jets, out of all these teams, are the team that probably want to win the most. They've spent the most money. They've already used some capital to upgrade their roster. And on paper, their roster isn't that terrible. If Geno does have a good year, they could be sneaky. But I do think they have the worst coaching staff, which I think ultimately does hold them back.
Dolphins, literally, they're all in on the tank. Browns, the
Dolphins are weird about it, though, because they did sign Malik Willis. And that kind of like, they're in on the tank, but at the same time, like, do they have their quarterback? Do they think they have their quarterback? It's a little strange in that regard.
You think they are? I see what Shador, Deshaun.
Well, no. I said the Dolphins are all in on the
Right.
tank. The Browns, I think, would like to be pleasantly surprised by Shador doing something.
Or Watson.
But also because they now have all those extra picks thanks to the Myles Garrett trade and all of it, they're okay with it. Cardinals,
When you trade Myles Garrett, you don't think you're going to be any good. Let's be fair.
to me, are adrift, and the Jets are the Jets. Pick your sleeper.
The Cardinals are, I think if they were in a different division, they would be more intriguing.
Next tier. One of these 5 teams, I hope we have it. Oh, well, maybe not. Wow. We'll see. Pick your sleeper. It's the Saints,
Let's
the
go,
Titans,
bro.
the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Giants. The Giants and the Vikings.
All right, there we go. Pick your sleeper. The Saints, the Titans, the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Giants. Okay, so there's one team that's missing so far, and that is the Atlanta Falcons, that I would actually argue is the closest to the bottom tier out of all the teams in the NFL that isn't in that bottom tier. That's my opinion, the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're going to be a bad team this year. Now, yeah, maybe they did upgrade from Raheem Morris to Kevin Stefanski, potentially there, but I am not a fan of their quarterback situation. Their offensive line has been degraded. Their receiving core is thin, I would argue. Like, after Drake London, they don't really have a number 2 right now. They're starting to figure that out. They've got Bijan, they've got Drake London, they've got Kyle Pitts, they've got some skill position, but their pass rush is below average, and their lead pass rusher is a bit of a head case. They lost Christian Ellis, who is a big part of their defense, right? And Caden Ellis, sorry, not Christian Ellis, Caden Ellis. Their defensive line is interior, very thin, very weak. Their secondary is okay, but I just look at their team and I think they're a bottom barrel team. Like, with Tua leading it, with Michael Penix leading it, I have very little faith, and I think they know that. I think there's something about how they approached their offseason. They didn't have a first-round pick. How they approached their free agency, it was very, like, 1-year contract based. Let's take a dart throw on some guys, but it wasn't all in. So Atlanta's the team I'm searching for here that's not yet up on the list that I think is going to be pretty overrated by Nick. The pick your sleeper tier is interesting. I think the Saints are levels above teams like the Raiders and the Titans. I think the Saints have real appeal as a sleeper, as a team that could win their division and make the playoffs. First of all, I have a lot more confidence in Tyler Shuck than I do Cam Ward or Fernando Mendoza based on what I saw last year from Cam Ward and just Fernando Mendoza being a rookie and or Kirk Cousins. I think the Saints have a much better defense than the Raiders, and I think they have a lot more of a compelling unit on offense. Kellen Moore, the play caller. They've got the offensive line that I think could be the most improved in the NFL this year. They have Chris Olave and Jordan Tyson and Juwan Johnson and Travis Etienne. They've got skill position players. They've got a solid defense. They've got two good coordinators on either side in Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley. They're in an easy division. So I think the Saints are a very good look for a sleeper out of all these teams. The Giants, I don't know what they're going to be. I could see it working. I could see it failing miserably. If Malik Neighbors is not healthy, that is going to completely, I think, destroy any momentum. I think Malik Neighbors, the health of him really is what the season hinges on, in my opinion. If Jackson Dart does not have that number one receiver, he's probably going to struggle. The offensive line, I think, is improved, but how much? I don't know if I love their running back situation. And beyond Malik Neighbors, you're counting on guys like Calvin Austin and Darius Slayton and Darnell Mooney and Isaiah Likely finally being a number one tight end. So there's not a lot of skill talent outside of Neighbors. The defense has a strong front seven, but again, I don't know. Abdul Carter could really break out. We'll see what Arvell Reese is at the next level, but they lost Dexter Lawrence. They've got Brian Burns. They've got a lot of studs up front. The secondary's been a mess for a couple years. Linebacker's been a mess for a few years. The Giants, I feel like they have probably the least proven, weakest quarterback in their division. They have a new regime. They're trying to catch teams like the Eagles, who have one of the best rosters in the NFL. The Cowboys, who have one of the best offenses and most improved defenses of the offseason, I think are going to be a very, very good team. The Commanders have spent a ton of money on their defense and have Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin on offense. And I just don't see how the Giants really work out to be that sleeper team unless Jackson Dart really surprises me. And I honestly think he's probably overrated. The Vikings, it's interesting that they're in this tier. I feel like others would give them more respect based on Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell and Kyler Murray's upside, Justin Jefferson, their tackles, their offense in general is pretty interesting. Jordan Addison, you've got Jawan Jennings, you've got TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones. There's some pieces there to work with, including the offensive line. Defensively, they're always very good, but I do feel like they lost Jonathan Grenard. They're a little bit weaker in terms of talent on defense for Brian Flores to really work with. I think the Vikings are probably the weakest team in their division, but it wouldn't also surprise me if they were a surprising team because Kyler does have that type of upside if he gets honed in on a 1-year prove-it contract by Kevin O'Connell. Maybe there's something there, but I don't even know if that's a great fit personally from a system and a quarterback perspective. I feel like it's kind of a little off. Maybe JJ McCarthy still wins the job, but in that case, is that really going to give them a lot of upside? Maybe he really takes a leap this year under all the scrutiny and pressure, and that forms a diamond, but I don't know. I don't see it with the Vikings. I feel like they're an average team because they play hard, they're well coached, they've got some good players in certain places, but I don't think it's complete. I think the Raiders are closer to the bottom tier than the Saints or the Vikings. I definitely feel like the Raiders are still a rebuilding team, especially offensively on their offensive line. Their skill positions beyond Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty are still very, very thin and just not impressive. And then defensively, they've made some key additions like at linebacker, but they're really not impressive. If Max Crosby is not an absolute dog You know, they brought in Kwity Paye and guys like that, but I don't see it with the Raiders being anything more than the worst team in their division. Like, I don't see them being a surprise third in their division, a surprise playoff team. I don't even see them as a sleeper. I see them as a rebuilding team. So honestly, out of all these teams in this row, I would say the Raiders deserve to be the lowest. The Falcons are a team that haven't shown up that I think could be a lot lower for me. The Titans are a team that does have appeal or upside because I think the coaching will be tremendously better, if that's even an adjective, but it will be tremendous from the standpoint of Brian Daboll developing Cam Ward, Robert Saleh developing the defense, coupled with John Franklin Myers, Jeff Simmons, Jermaine Johnson in that front. They still are missing an offensive line. I'm not sure about their run game. I do like their receiving core, even if I'm not the biggest Carnell Tate guy, but I still feel like they tried to piece some things together, like some nice additions in different spots, but I think they're still missing quite a few key players, and it's going to take another offseason draft class or two to really build this thing up. And I'm not sold on Robert Saleh as a head coach. I like him as a defensive coordinator. And I'm not sold on Cam Ward yet. Like, I like the guy and I like the leader and what he could be, and I like the talent, but he didn't prove that last year. So I'm a lot more on the Tyler Shuck bandwagon than I am the Cam Ward bandwagon. I think the Titans and Raiders are still the weakest teams here. The Giants are kind of interesting, but I don't buy them as much as other people. The Vikings are just kind of mediocre, is the way that I would put it. I'm looking forward to seeing this next year because I wonder if I would switch teams, you know, between these next couple tiers here. Let's see what Nick has to say.
Vikings are going to be the popular sleeper teams.
The Vikings.
They both finished last in their. Oh no, the Vikings, technically did.
They felt like they did.
They felt like they did.
Detroit
They
was
felt
last.
like they did. They're going to be so popular that by the time we get around to the season, I don't know if they'll even qualify as sleepers. But in a weird way, the Giants' sleeper status got buttressed today by that terrible John Harbaugh speech that you tweeted out, because I think it took some of the steam off of them.
It's unbelievable.
And then,
yeah, I'm not a huge John Harbaugh fan at this point in his career. I think that he's become an overrated coach, but I could be wrong about that.
and Saints, Titans, Raiders, those are legitimate sleepers.
Do you have the monopoly on the Saints?
The Saints are a team that I think smart people are picking as a sleeper. And yes, I'm calling myself smart in this instance. But I just feel like a lot of people that follow the NFL and understand their team, I don't think a lot of casuals will get the Saints. But I think a lot of people that actually follow the nitty-gritty of football will really be into the Saints this year. I think the Saints are definitely a really good sleeper pick and probably the best on this list.
Just because Broussard's like Smith in the bio.
Yeah, I mean, I can always claim it if they're good.
No, but you can have them.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can have
them.
them.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right. This is it's back to football, so remember, Marshall names the tiers.
Of course.
This is one of the meaner tier names, so we'll go quickly on it. Board to tiers.
Bored to tears.
I'm not.
Okay, fair enough. You know, teams that are boring. I think the Falcons don't deserve to be there. I think they're much worse. When looking at Indianapolis on the other side, I think that's another team that I would argue is maybe a little overrated. Like, are they better than the Vikings? I don't know. Would I have the Saints above them in a power ranking? Yeah, definitely. So I would swap, I'd have the Colts lower. I'd have the Falcons lower. The Steelers and the Panthers, I feel like deserve to be here. So if I were really looking at it, I would move the Vikings into the board to tiers tier. Not that I would name it that. And then I would move the Saints up and swap the Falcons and swap the Colts for the Vikings. And then I'd have the Panthers, the Steelers, the Saints, just based on what I see so far. And then I'd move the Falcons alongside teams like Tennessee, the Raiders, the Giants. That feels a lot better to me. And then the Colts as well. The Colts, I'm not a fan of their current defense. I don't think they really have a pass rush. They have an old duo of defensive tackles, although I still respect DeForest Buckner's game. Latu's a good player, but not a great player. They don't have a great defensive player up front. Their linebackers are not great. Their secondary, Sauce Gardner, really needs to turn out because if not, it's not going to be very good. Their offense, their offensive line is pretty solid, but we're dealing with Daniel Jones, who had a really good year last year, but got extremely injured, seriously injured, a big injury that could significantly hinder him as a player. Jonathan Taylor is a beast, and the run game will be good, and I like Shane Steichen, but he can get something out of them, but he's not going to get them 10 wins. He might make them an 8-7 win team, 9s maybe, but like they lost Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce is a stud. Josh Downs is good. Ty Warren is good. They've got players, but they're not like as good at receiver. They're not as good in the secondary, in my opinion. I don't see a lot of great with the Colts. I don't think they have a great quarterback. Maybe they have a very good running game. Maybe. But they don't have a great passing game. They don't have a great skill position group. It's good, not great. They have an okay defense, maybe at best. Like, I could see it being pretty bad. And honestly, their coaching staff is good, not great. So I just feel like, they're kind of boring because they're very mediocre. They feel like I would definitely not have the Vikings below them. I don't see that. And I think the Saints have a lot more upside. The Panthers are interesting because they won their division last year, but Bryce Young is, to me, the thing about them that does not appeal to me. I think Bryce Young is fine, but I don't think he's a guy. I don't think he's a guy that you can consistently count on week in, week out to have a good performance, a consistent, Pro Bowl level caliber quarterback. I think he's just a serviceable option at the position. And honestly, they don't have the level of offense around him that can prop him up. They've got some talented guys like Tetairoa McMillan. The offensive line is pretty good. And I'm looking forward to seeing Jalen Coker this year. But I really like what they did with Jalen Phillips and what they did with Devin Lloyd and having those two corners they got on the outside and Derek Brown. They do have a really interesting defense in a bad division with a solid enough offense, a solid coaching staff. They very much could win this division again, but they're facing a first place schedule, which I think is going to probably derail their season because I think they're just going to face too many teams that are just better than them with better quarterbacks, better coaches, better offenses. So I think that's probably going to hurt them. They're probably going to be pretty mediocre. But I do appreciate, their aggression and free agency on defense and what they tried to do to fix them and make them better. The Pittsburgh Steelers are pretty boring, but they got a little bit more interesting. First of all, you've got the Aaron Rodgers retirement tour, which is interesting in its own right. But, you got the Mike McCarthy, no Mike Tomlin this year. That makes them inherently more interesting. Michael Pittman trade, Jamel Dean pickup. I like some of the things they did. Sebastian Joseph Day as well, and Jaquan Brisker and Rico Dowdle. I liked a lot of their moves. I don't love their offensive line. Their defense and their team generally is getting old. And I'm not sure about the Mike McCarthy thing. I think they're going to be an average team again. So they deservedly are in this tier. Like, I think the Steelers are an average team. I could see Steelers fans talking themselves into another playoff berth. Maybe a playoff berth at best, but I don't see them winning a playoff game. It's very much going to be, at best, their ceiling of last year. At worst, Aaron Rodgers is just not good anymore, not even serviceable anymore, and it just derails their team to the point of like they win 6 games. But I think that this tier is a little off, but I understand it.
Not interested in talking about any of these teams for any more than right there. I know Aaron Rodgers on one of them. Don't care. Bryce Young, 98th best player in the league. Sweet. Anybody checked on Daniel Jones' Achilles? Do they have a plan otherwise?
And Anthony Richardson still on the team.
QB battle in Atlanta.
Atlanta quarterback
Tua
battle. Yeah, there we go.
Tua and Penix.
There's our coverage of those 4 teams for the year. Okay. Too many holes.
Too many holes. Bengals, Commanders, and Bucks. Okay, so the Bucks and Commanders, I don't really see how anyone would view them as better than teams like the Steelers, Panthers, the Saints, the Vikings. I feel like those teams are in the same tier. I'm not trying to say that they're worse than those teams, but I feel like they're about the same. Now, maybe Nick just likes them more because of Baker and Jaden Daniels. I guess that's fair. But yeah, I mean, I just don't like Todd Bowles at this point. I don't love the Bucs offensive line. I honestly don't like their receiving core as much as I used to anymore. I think it's definitely fallen off. I think Ibuka is overrated, and losing Mike Evans is huge. And I think defensively, they've got a weak cornerback group that's going to really hurt them. But I do like their improved pass rush. I think the Bucs are just in for a bad year. I just kind of feel like that's going to be the way it is. They're in a transition period right now. The Commanders, they still feel like they're missing some pieces offensively around Jaden Daniels. I didn't like that they got rid of Cliff. And defensively, they've improved a lot, but I still wouldn't say they're like a good defense. We'll see. The Bengals are the team that don't deserve to be here. The Bengals could legitimately be a very good team this year. I think if their defense with Dexter Lawrence and Jonathan Allen and Boye Mafe and Brian Cook, if their defense ends up being mediocre and Joe Burrow is healthy, this can be a real AFC North winner, a real AFC playoff team. So I think he's way off on the Bengals, but the other two are an average team. Average teams. Would it shock me if the Bucs or the Commanders made the playoffs? No, because who their quarterbacks are. Wouldn't shock me if they were like the 7 seed or if the Bucs won their weak division. It wouldn't shock me, right? They deserve to be alongside teams like the Steelers and the Panthers, where you could see them making the playoffs, but probably not. The Bengals, it's like they're more of a dark horse material. If things align their way, they could be really good. That's how I view them. So a little bit off on that one too.
These teams actually, contrary to Board to Tears, could be exciting and fun, and particularly on the offensive side of the ball. But I don't know if any of the three have an above average offensive line. I don't know if any of the three have an above average defense, or maybe mediocre in that. So just too many holes overall on the roster, even if you love Jaden or Baker or Burrow or some of their weapons, too many holes. Should have everything they need. Excellent head coach.
Wow, this is low. Like, I don't know how many more tiers are coming up. So we're only about halfway through the league and we're at Chargers and Texans. I mean, the Chargers and Texans, I think they are playoff teams. I think the Texans are like a contender. I mean, the Texans, first of all, like, I know Nick is a Chiefs fan, but how could you think the Chiefs are better than the Texans? I mean, no. I don't even know what else to say. Yeah, this is crazy. I think the Chargers and Texans deserve to be much higher, especially the Texans. The Texans have very, 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 very few holes. If you're talking about too many holes with the latest tier, and now, everything they need, like, yeah, CJ Stroud is flawed, and the offensive line needs to prove itself. But outside of that, where's the hole on the Texans? They have the best defense in football. They've got a good head coach. They've got a great GM. They've got an improved run game, a deep receiving core with a number 1 receiver. Like, what are they missing besides a quarterback that can calm down and play under, pressure, like have composure? The Chargers, I think there's an argument they could be a lot better than last year because they have an offensive line this year. They have a real OC this year. Justin Herbert is playing at the peak of his powers, in my opinion, and defensively, they've been a top 10 defense the last 2 years, top 5 last year. Yeah, they lost Jesse Minter, but they've still got a lot of the core talent there, and they've got a strong, consistent head coach and culture. I don't see this at all. There's a number of teams that have not shown up that I would have much lower than the Chargers or Texans. The Texans would be in my top 5 or 6. The Chargers would certainly be in my top 12, but probably like closer to my top 10. So this is pretty ridiculous, in my opinion.
Check. The great defenses. One great defense, one good defense. Check. Chargers, offensive linemen back healthy. Adequate weapons. Fine running games. Question for both these teams is, do they actually have a star quarterback? I think most people right now are very down on CJ Stroud.
I mean, Herbert, like, really, like, he's a star quarterback. Like, do we watch football? Like, he's a star quarterback. Does he still need to, like, have some moments in the playoffs? Yes. But watch the guy play. CJ Stroud, okay, understandably so. He has had some really bad moments. Understandably so. That is a fair flaw. But the Texans have been very, very, very good the last 2 years. They've won a playoff game the last 2 years with CJ Stroud sucking. Like, this has happened 2 years in a row.
Most people, this is just the time of year that most people are the highest on Justin Herbert.
Oh, yeah.
Far enough away from the playoffs and before the games actually start being played.
Come on, August is going to get real hot.
Yeah. So if those quarterbacks play well, those teams should be legitimate AFC contenders. We'll see. Certainly enough talent. And these are...
Okay, where are the Chiefs? Like, do we think the Chiefs are like a contender, Nick? Like, are we serious? The Cowboys, the Niners, and the Eagles. Certainly enough talent. I mean, I don't know what type of, like, drugs people are on when they're talking about the San Francisco 49ers this offseason, but I certainly would like a taste. Like, I do not know what people are injecting themselves with, sniffing, snorting. I don't know, bro. Like, what is going on with this 49er analysis in the mainstream? And this almost makes me believe they're going to be better than even I think they could be, because no one in the mainstream actually realizes how stacked this team is. Like, they won how many games last year? They won a playoff game in Philly with half their team, and then they got better. Like, I don't understand what people are on. Like, they have a top 2 or 3 offense in the league. They have arguably the best coach in the NFL. They have a really solid DC with Raheem Morris. They've got Nick Bosa back, Fred Warner back, Dre Greenlaw back. They added Osa Odigizua. They got Michael Williams back. They have a young, feisty secondary. They've got Mike freaking Evans. Apparently, Deshaun Stribling was everyone's favorite receiver in the draft. George Kittle will be back. Trent Williams is there. CMC is there. Like, they added Christian Kirk, like Ricky Pearsall. What do they need for people to be, like, excited about the 49ers? It's very, very odd. Like, I can understand the Eagles because the Eagles have yet to prove they have an offensive coordinator. They finished last season in miserable fashion. Jalen Hurts is taking a lot of heat. Despite how talented they are getting maybe a little older, you know, like with Lane Johnson wearing down Saquon. Is he the same player? They lost A.J. Brown. There's some questions about the Eagles. The Niners, it's like, what are we even talking about? And then the Dallas Cowboys, they can be here from the standpoint of, like, they were kind of fun last year, but they weren't a complete team. We think they're going to be better. There's projection. There's potential. I certainly get that, right? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, a solid offensive line. Javonte Williams, I think, is going to have a huge year. Defensively, they got a lot better, adding pieces like Caleb Downs and Rashawn Gary. So the Cowboys, like, honestly, the Cowboys should be lower, like, around the Bengals. The Commanders and the Bucks should be lower around the Steelers and the Panthers. The Texans and Chargers are better, in my opinion, than the Cowboys or the Eagles. The Niners are like a top 3 or 4 team in the league. They should be higher. I think these last 2 tiers are wild. Like, the Eagles and Cowboys being next to each other actually does make some sense. I see them being very close, but in different ways. But then I don't get the Niners. I don't understand what people do. People, like, look at their depth chart or, like, and then I don't know. Like, I guess you could just say, like, they're going to get hurt again. I don't know. But last year they did, and it didn't matter. So I don't know. Like,
3 marquee franchises.
I don't get
Cowboys,
it.
Niners, Eagles. You check out our old friends at Our-Lads, their depth charts for these teams. You can't make the argument that they don't have enough firepower.
Like, how in the blue are these teams worse than the Chiefs? Like, are you kidding me?
on either side of the ball. And shout out to the Cowboys for quickly rebuilding that defense to where the defense, I don't think they'll have a great defense, but I think the defense is going to be good enough to where it's not going to kill them like last year. They certainly, any of these three teams have enough talent. I think wouldn't be crazy at all if any of the three won the NFC. If they made it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Eagles and Niners have made it to 4 of the last 7 in the NFC. Cowboys have made it to 0 of the last 30. But they should have maybe the best offense they've ever had. Certainly enough talent. This is going to be controversial here.
Where are the
There's
Chiefs?
no biases here. Sustained success or one-off?
Where are the Chiefs? What are we doing? Where are the Chiefs? The Chiefs are not even good. Like, where are they? What is going on? Bro, the Denver Broncos, the Jacksonville freaking Jaguars, and the New England... The Jacksonville Jags are better than the 49ers and the Texans? Like, what type of coke? Holy smokes, bro. That's why, look at his nose, bro. You know how much coke's going up that thing?
Broncos, Jags.
Look at this. Like, Broncos and Patriots, yeah, okay. Totally understand that. 2 best teams in the AFC last year, met in the AFC Championship game. Both arguably got better by adding number 1 wide receivers. Drake May is the only quarterback I actually trust in that tier, though, I would say. I trust Denver because of Sean Payton more so than Bo Nix. But Jacksonville should be like here. Like, too many holes. Jacksonville. Really?
Patriots. These teams won 13 or 14 games last year. These teams, 2 of them, the Broncos and Jags, have what I would call polarizing quarterbacks. I don't think Drake May is polarizing at all. I think everybody likes him. And this is the year they can, if they don't have to be as good this year, but if they make the playoffs with double-digit wins this year, even as a wild card, then those teams just become stamped as, oh, okay, they're one of the AFC perennial playoff teams to be dealt with. I don't expect all of them to make the playoffs this year. I wouldn't be shocked if 2 of the 3 missed the playoffs this year. I'm not even saying which 2, just 2 of the 3. Any of them that missed the playoffs this year, until further proven otherwise, we'll look at as last year as a one-off.
Where are the Chiefs? How are the Chiefs better than the Broncos?
Like, hey,
where are they?
Magical year, great weather.
Nick, answer my damn question.
Number 1 seed for the Broncos, the 13 wins for the Jags, making the Super Bowl for the Patriots. So this year is,
Nick,
a little bit of an inflection point for how nationally we view these 3
totally
AFC
unfair.
teams. No, that's why, and my Jags are on there. The Broncos won the division finally. Your Pats. Bounce back or else.
bro, what is this? So the Chiefs are better than the Broncos, the Patriots, the Niners, the Texans, the Chargers. Holy. The Baltimore Ravens are even overrated here. Like, I like the Ravens, but the Ravens above the Patriots and the Broncos and the Niners and the Texans and the Ravens are like, to me, Charger tier. Maybe a little above that. It depends. Like, their offensive line, their receiving core is weak. Derrick Henry's 1,000 years old. Their defense is good, but they're counting on Trey Hendrickson. The Ravens could definitely be overrated. Like, this is a bad freaking list, man. How do you have the Chiefs that high? The Chiefs stink.
Chiefs, Bruce Ravens.
They stink.
You can miss the playoffs one time. Season from hell.
Bro, what are we basing this on? Like 4 years ago?
Quarterbacks got hurt. Had, in the Chiefs' case, coming off 3
They had like 6 wins when he got hurt.
consecutive 20-plus win season or 20-plus game seasons. In the Ravens' perspective, just Harbaugh ran his course. You know what I mean? We needed something else. We needed something new. Throw that season away. Move on.
Yep.
You missed the playoffs again. It's like, oh, okay. Massive overhauls needed. Now, the Ravens already did a minor overhaul by changing the coach. The Chiefs, if they were to miss the playoffs again,
What is
would
he
have to
talking
really look
about?
at how they have built the team. The Ravens, I think there would be a lot of scrutiny,
Nick!
fairly or otherwise, on Lamar, particularly as is he getting the new
Nick,
contract?
I
Is he
do not care about whatever the heck you're talking. To explain to me how the Chiefs are better than these teams, bro. Please explain to me that. They sucked last year. They lost to the Cowboys.
Not all of that. I expect both of these teams to maybe varying levels bounce back. If they don't, it is a changing of the guard.
They're
in
not
the AFC
going
for
to.
sure. An FC North bloodbath again.
Oh my goodness freaking gracious. We've got the Chicago. This is the worst tier list I think he's ever made. Guys, this is the worst Nick Wright tier list he has ever made. The Lions didn't make the playoffs last year. They really didn't get that much better. They just have a weak schedule. They got a better OC. The Bears are the biggest regression candidate in the NFL, with the most overrated player in the NFL, and not a good defense. The Packers will be without Micah Parsons for half the season. And their running back is a criminal. Like, what are we even... What? Like, I didn't even like the Ravens being this high, but the Ravens are better than all three of those teams, in my opinion. The Patriots and Broncos are way better than those three teams. It's not even close. The Niners are way better than those three teams. The Texans are better than all three of those teams. I think the Chargers could be better than all three of those teams. This is the worst tier list he has ever made. Wow.
Packers, Bears, Lions.
This is
Last
bad.
year, the Bears won this division. The Packers looked positioned to win this division. Micah went down, and they lost 4 straight games, limped in the playoffs. The Lions, we showed you at the midway point of the season, were the third favorite to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. We showed yesterday they ended up finishing last in the division.
All you're proving is that was the most overrated division in the NFL. Because the Bears didn't have a defense. They won every game with 1 minute left. The Packers, they were Micah Parsons reliant. Their offense is good, not great. Their run game was not good last year. They lost pieces on their offense. The Lions, they haven't had a defense. They're like retooled their entire offensive line. I like their offensive pieces, but I mean, even Lions fans, I think a lot of them would say maybe we win our division, maybe we win 11 games. I don't think anyone thinks they're this high. Like, bro, this is crazy how bad this is.
I think all three of these teams have good to excellent quarterbacks. I think all three of these teams have good to excellent coaches. I think all three of these teams have good enough defenses. Assuming Micah, comes back at some point looking like Micah Parsons. But man, oh man, gonna beat each other up.
Yeah.
Who's setting the edge on the Chicago Bears, bro?
And that is, that is a major concern. Who's the champ here? Seahawks, Bills.
Oh my goodness gracious, bro. Like, this tier isn't that bad. The Bills and the Seahawks. This is so bad. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, I am blown away by this is my first reaction, guys. I haven't seen this. This is so bad. The Buffalo Bills are very, very flawed. Very flawed team. Yeah, they added DJ Moore. They lost David Edwards up front. Their defense, we'll see. Is it good enough? I don't know. I don't think so on paper. Josh is awesome. Seattle, they won't be as good next year. Like, they probably deserve to be this high. I think that's fair. But they lost Clint Kubiak. They lost Kenneth Walker. They lost pieces on their defense. probably, you know, Sam Darnold with the infrastructure he had with Clint Kubiak probably won't be as good next year. Still a good team. Very good team. But probably not as good. Buffalo. I mean, the Chiefs are like the 8th best team on this list. Like, what?
At what point over the last 6 years could I have told you Sam Darnold's going to win a Super Bowl before Josh Allen? Seattle's going to win a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl before Buffalo gets to a Super Bowl, that you would have believed me. When Russ was finishing it.
That's the NFL, man. That's the NFL for you.
His career there? No. When Geno was there? No. When Darnold was bouncing
here, I promise you this. If Josh was on Seattle, he would have won the Super Bowl too.
around the league? No. These are two of the best teams in the league. It is stunning that the one here that actually has accomplished something, accomplished the biggest thing, is Seattle. Because Darnold and Josh Allen, same draft class. Picks 3 and 6 or 3 and 7. Like, it's unbelievable. It's where they are. I also think going into this year, they're around similar likelihood of winning this year's Super Bowl. But then atop the tiers is the Rams.
Yeah, that's obvious. You know, dream team. Yeah, that's obvious. The Rams are definitely the favorite and definitely should be first. But the rest of this damn list is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dream team. That doesn't always work out.
Right.
I think they're the best team. I also, and I can't explain it, it's just a gut feeling I have. Adding Aaron Donald is a bad idea.
What?
It would feel like it's too, again.
It's gaining a lot of momentum.
I know it is, and like I said, I
What
can't
is he
explain.
talking
It's my job
about?
to come on TV and explain things. All I can tell you is my gut feeling is that it would not actually be good for them. And I don't know if it's because he's a few years removed and it's
We don't know how great
he would be, or if it's just it would, you know,
Aaron
the
Donald?
dream team that I'm referencing obviously is the Eagles team from more than 15 years ago. That it was their backup quarterback that coined the phrase the dream team. It was Vince Young. He was like the final added piece, and it's like, wow, but he was the backup quarterback. Still,
All right.
that didn't go
Enough
well.
of this.
I have him atop
Enough.
the tiers.
Shut up, bro. My freaking goodness. That was one of the worst power rankings I've ever seen in my life. I don't have any other words. Thank you for watching, guys. Gronk spiked the like button. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Peace, man.